what our dogs need us to provide for them so they can thrive in human society. Welcome to the beginning. Let's go. So here's your list of what dogs need. They need a mentor, someone to show them the ropes. They need to feel safe. They need to be able to find comfort. They obviously need food, water and shelter if they want it. They need play. They definitely need companionship. They need mental and physical stimulation, the freedom to be dogs, and they also need a degree of control over the environment they find themselves living in. So let's take a look at what each of those things might mean in practicality.
Arguably the most difficult thing a puppy loses when he leaves his mother at around 8 weeks old is having someone who can readily communicate with him what to do when and where. Once you take him home to his new human family, his new human mentor will have to show him how to safely and comfortably exist in human and dog society, along with the rules of both. If you're adding a puppy to a household with an existing dog, the new pup will very easily do what other dog does unless you offer clear guidance from a human mentor. The entire time you're hanging out with your dog, he's learning what you will allow him to do and what you won't allow him to do, and how much he can get away with in between. It's these boundaries that contribute to his next behavioural necessity, safety. Ma.
Your dog's subjective feeling of safety will also come from the feeling that his mentor won't allow him to run into too much trouble. If he lived with his mother for a year or so, he would do what mama does almost exactly, which is what he will do with his human mentors too. If you're afraid of something or notice when he's afraid of something and react, he'll be afraid too. This is where being able to read your dog's body language is key to raising a good dog. You need to largely set an example and do what his mama would do, as well as introduce him to human communication.
Well, for starters, he'll do quite a lot of this lounging around relaxing with his legs in the air. It's a good look. This is my little jelly bean. As you can see, she looks pretty comfortable. Other comforts that aren't necessarily quite so obvious can take the form of not being hungry or thirsty, not needing the loo, not being too hot or too cold, and your dog's gauge of that will be very different to yours, not being damp, having a toilet area away from the living area, not being full of energy, not being confined alone, not being bored and alone, therefore having company. If a dog's teething or highly motivated to chew, he'll find not having something to chew very uncomfortable and is likely to find his own thing to use if you don't provide him with one. The more physically and mentally comfortable your dog is, the more likely he is to be able to lie on his back with his legs in the air, having a lovely little relax.
Some dogs, like some people, myself included, love food, and if allowed to eat freely, will gorge until they're too fat to walk, and this is bad. I like to feed my dogs to the point where they're able to be super athletic. They're not particularly hungry most of the time, but they carry a nice covering of muscle and fat over their bones. Very much like myself.
Uh-oh. Some dogs will value play and companionship above all else, whilst others won't be fussed. If an individual really needs play with other dogs, a chronic lack of it will make him increasingly desperate to find it, and his frustration may manifest in what appears to be reactivity. Often, dogs who are reactive around other dogs are desperate for interaction with them. Unfortunately, they tend to go in too hard and too fast, in a socially unacceptable way, if allowed interaction after a long time without. This is called the rebound effect. They therefore must be reintroduced very carefully to other dogs by professionals. Given the freedom to find their own things to do, most dogs would travel a reasonable distance quite fast in a wiggly all over the shop line during their day. They'd sniff stuff, pee on stuff, run around, chase stuff, sleep, eat some things, play a lot, poo and do other rude things all day. They'd also probably nap a bit and watch the world going by, content in their ability to choose what they did next.
Thank you for watching our video about what dogs might need. The next video we're going to have a look at what dogs might want throughout their day and how we would like them to communicate that to us. See you there! Say bye-bye, Jelly Bean.